What is up, guys? Good to be back. Welcome to another video. In this one, I'm literally going to be giving you my exact cold call script, everything that I'm using at the moment now, and also going into 2024. I found this to be the best script in booking meetings consistently. I've changed a few things around from the initial video which I made, which did really well, to be honest, and that was just me doing some live cold calling. So that's on my channel if you want to check it out. But yeah, I'm literally giving everything away to you guys. This is all, I don't have anything to hide. This is it. And I just wanted to sort of run you through this and how it's said, what it looks like at a high level, and then give you the thoughts and the thinking behind each component of the script and why I'm actually using it. So first things first, like it says here, decision maker. This is important. You want to be speaking to the decision maker. And a key part of that in cold calls is getting mobile numbers. So ideally, if you can, the best thing to do is the best way to bypass the gatekeeper is to not have to speak to the gatekeeper, right? So do everything in your power to get mobile numbers rather than calling gatekeepers. Because like I've done it in the past, like, yes, you can get past the gatekeepers, it's possible, but if you don't even have to speak to them in the first place, then why bother? So do everything you can to get mobile numbers. A few good things to do that. A few good ways you can do sales QL. Apollo is really good for it as well. And there's a few different plugins, but I'd say those are the two main ones. But yeah, so essentially it starts off with, hi, this is Max calling from Sales Lead. How are you? And the reason for this is I've obviously changed the tune from the original permission-based opener, which I was previously using. And I feel like it is very popular at the moment, especially in the sort of cold calling SMMA YouTube sort of area. That's basically all I'm seeing. I'm just seeing people asking for permission, people confirming who they're speaking to is the correct person, and then asking for permission. So my thoughts on that are kind of I've kind of changed quite a lot, obviously, because that's why I've changed the script. And the main one is, I think you should try, like, the main reason for it is, if you're cold calling, if you're dialing through a list of numbers, you want to be reducing the variance as much as possible. And ideally you're saying the same thing every time, obviously with a bit of variance in accordance with what the other person's saying. But if you really want to get into a flow and you really want to make calls consistently, then it really helps to not switch up every single time with the, hey, this is Max calling. Am I speaking to X? Yeah, okay, brilliant. It's okay if I have 30 seconds of your time just to explain why I'm exactly calling you today. So my opinion is, if you've called them, you've got their number, they're picking up the phone, why should you have to ask for permission? Like, they're literally, by picking up the phone, they're giving you their time already. Just get straight into it. And with the permission-based opener, what you're doing is you're just delaying the time that you get to put your value statement in front of them. And you're giving them a chance to not even see your value, not even hear your value statement. So by going straight into the cold call, and by going straight in with this, so, hi, this is Max calling from Sales Lead. How are you? Either they're going to say, yeah, good, and be a little bit confused because obviously they don't know who it is, which then you just jump straight into it. Or they're going to be like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you? And you say, yeah, I'm good, thank you. And you jump straight into the value statement. So what this allows you to do is this allows you to get into the value statement quicker and just have a nice flow of calls. Because the main thing we're trying to do is we're just trying to get that hook of interest. And we can't do that if we don't say the value statement. So we want to give ourselves the chance of getting people hooked on the value statement as much as possible. And the permission-based openers give them a chance to get away from that value-based opener. So that is the thinking behind this opening line. I think this is going to be a long video if I give as much time to this first line as I for all the other parts. But yeah, so you got the value statement here. It's really simple. It hasn't changed from last time. This is based entirely on Alex Hormozi's sort of framework for what value actually is. So perceived likelihood of achievement, time, risk, and effort and sacrifice. So it mentions the time horizon, mentions the dream outcome of 100K a month in new revenue, and it mentions the effort or sacrifice on their side. So also calls out who we're actually working with directly. So you can change this depending on who exactly you're reaching out to. So for example, our niche is marketing agencies. If I was picking up the phone and I could see beforehand that it was a media agency, I would change the sub niche in brackets there to say, hi, we partner with media agencies based in, if I saw they're in the UK, I'd say the UK. You can get even more specific and say a certain area of the UK if you really wanted to. But yeah, that's how it goes. So that's the value statement. And then you have the permission to explain. So can I quickly explain how we do that in about 20 seconds of your time? That makes sure they're actually interested and they're not just giving you the time of day for no reason. Also gets them saying yes. It's really important. You want to get the prospect saying yes, yes, unconsciously in their mind, gets them to agree with what you're saying. Next section is your basically detailed explanation, and this should be in the three, maybe you have four, maybe you have five key pillars of your service. Shouldn't be too long. I'd say you should try and get this around 20 to 30 seconds just so you can actually be honest with the prospect. And yeah, just go into detail. Don't talk super in depth. Obviously, we're just trying to get initial interest from the prospect. We're not giving them all of the details around their service and everything like that. So try and keep it at a high level, but obviously don't keep it too brief and not too high level either. You can pause the video obviously and take a look at what I've said here just to get an idea. Does that make sense? So essentially, again, this gets the prospect to say yes. It gives them, like I said, it's that second yes, which unconsciously gets them. Now they've said yes, yes twice. It's going to be quite hard for them to say no once you get to the call to action at this point, if they've registered their interest in the other areas. The next part is the call to action. So I think previously I would say something. If you watch the cold calling video, I'd say something similar to, yeah. So I was just wondering if you'd be I think I'd say something like, oh yeah. So I was just wondering if it'd be okay if maybe we could book something in next week, perhaps, if you're really not against it too much. Like just so indecisive and so like unassertive. I don't know if that's a word, but unassertive. So instead, what you want to do is you've called them, you've given them the value, you've explained to them what you do. They clearly have an interest in it. They've said yes, yes twice. Be assertive, get that tonality right. You want to have a downward inflecting tonality when you're saying this statement. So, and you want to make it assertive. So it's more like, okay, cool. I'm looking to set up a time to chat next week. I just want to get introduced and aligned on this going forward. How does your calendar look next week on Wednesday or Thursday? And they say yes, and you've got a meeting. It's really that simple. So you don't want to have them in limbo. When the way you say the call to action and how you say it and the assertiveness of the language you use really allows the prospect to waver. And if you're not assertive, it makes it so much more easy for them to say no, or I'll just send you an email. Can you send me an email, etc. Because like think of the difference. Think of how much think of how much easier it is for the prospect to say no. I'll just send you you can just send me an email. If I said, I guess would it be possible if we could book in a call maybe if you're available? I mean, no problem if not. Like you're just giving them an easy way out. What you want to do is, this is a powerful idea. You want to make it uncomfortable for them to say no to you. And you do that by being specific and being confident in the way you say this call to action. So that's how it looks. I've just explained the structure here. You've got the opener, you've got the value statement, permission to explain in more detailed explanation in steps, giving room for questions, and then the call to action here as well. This is extremely powerful. Like if you use this correctly, it's going to book you so many meetings. Like it's actually a joke. All it is now is just picking up the phone and dialing consistently. And this takes me into the next part, which is essentially just the key things to remember. This is what's important here. I just wanted to go over some key, like around 11 or so tips that are really going to make or break your cold calls. The first one is when you're dialing consistently and you're making dials, it's inevitable that you're going to get people who reject you. You're going to get people who say no. You're going to get people who hang up. Probably not people who are going to be rude. Honestly, I've really not had that too much. But especially when you're using a good script. But it's going to happen. It probably can happen. The key thing to keep in mind here is when that happens, they're not rejecting you as a person. They're not shitting all over your ego. They're not taking anything away from you. They're just rejecting the offer you're putting in front of them. And honestly, by them doing this, it says a lot more about them than it does about you. So Just keep going. Realize that it's not personal. They're just rejecting something that you're offering. And usually it says more about them. The more no's that you get, the closer you are to a yes. So if you just cycle through all these no's, by the law of averages, you're closer to getting a yes for every no that you get, especially if you know your metrics, because on average, things are always going to regress to what that average number of positive responses you get from a cold call. So third tip is, this is essential because obviously it's not like a sales call where the prospect can see you, they can hear you speak, they can see your body language. You want to come across as confident, and I've came up with a term to describe this. It's from Connor Murray. Actually, he's a very good cold calling YouTuber. I'd recommend you check him out. He does stuff about training SDRs, but he recommends you come across as professionally enthusiastic. So this is where you come across as confident. You want to be enthusiastic, but you don't want to be too much. You don't want to be one of those typical sales guys that speaks at 1,000 miles an hour and just has too much confidence, and it almost just sounds weird. So yeah, tonality is everything, especially when they can't see your body. They can't see how you're using body language. They can only hear your voice. So your voice has to have confidence and your tonality has to be on point. This is a key thing to remember as well. Like, you are calling people that hundreds, thousands of miles away who are probably never going to hear from you again, and you're probably never going to hear from them again or hear from them at all. So you almost want to look at these people that you're reaching out to as not real, like they're just NPCs. Or genuinely, you almost want to think of these people as NPCs, and they're just not real. So don't put so much pressure on yourself just to pick up the phone and call one person. Like, it's just, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Honestly, that's the mindset you have to have, and you just have to go into it thinking, I've got nothing to lose, because that is the truth. You do have nothing to lose. I said this before, always call mobile numbers if possible. It's absolutely crucial. You ideally don't want to be dealing with gatekeepers. You want to be speaking straight to the decision maker. Like I said, ways you can do that: Apollo, Sales QL. There's a few different tools you can use. But yeah, this is absolutely critical. Obviously, it's going to be harder in certain niches, but it's definitely doable. Like, there's tools out there. You just need to make it happen. Objection handling is key. So it's just like sales. You're going to get objections. You're going to get people that say, oh, I want not time to think about it. But the equivalent of I need some time to think about it is, can you just send me an email? Like 9 times out of 10, that is the most bullshit objection like you will ever hear. It's the equivalent of someone saying, I need more time to think about it. Like in some cases it's true. Like, they may genuinely be busy, but you have to treat these things as an objection. And a good way to treat this objection is say, like, what do you want to see? And in most cases, it's just about keeping the conversation flowing. It's just keeping things. And if they ask for an email, if they ask for something like that, if they ask for more information, try and give it on the call and try and book in a time to chat. Use that call as basically what you'd be sending in the email, giving them more information on a call that you actually book in. The next thing is you want to make it part of your routine. So you want to be doing cold calling at the same time every single day and have the same set of rituals to get it started. Basically, you just want to be doing the same thing every day. You want to just make it a habit. You just want to make it part of your routine, so you don't even have to think about doing it. You don't have to go into all the effort of overcoming all the resistance, because it's just a habit, because it's just something that you do now as part of your identity. So yeah, make it part of your routine. It should feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel uneasy. It's going to be hard to do at first, but that's how you know you're actually making progress, and you're progressing not only in your outreach and getting more clients, but you're actually growing as a person, because obviously in order to grow, you need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You need to just sit in that pain. And it's going to be the best form of outreach for your character and your development, because you're just sitting outside of your comfort zone for so long and you're doing it in the most effective way possible. So next tip, I'd say use the power dialer. That's the best thing to get into a flow. Make sure that you're picking up the phone really quickly. You're just getting through the numbers that you have, because honestly, the amount of time that it can take to, let's say if you're just doing it off a mobile, looking at your database, putting the number in manually every single time, calling them, checking your recent calls, doing the next thing, entering it manually. If you can just have a power dialer, like you can do it through close.com, you can do it on Go High Level, it makes it so much easier. Like it saves you so much time, and it makes it so much easier to get into a flow of doing it. So not only can you make calls quicker, but you're also more likely to keep it going because time just flies by when you have it on a power dialer, and you can just get into a nice rhythm of calling and you just feel good. It just feels a lot better. Don't judge other people who cold call. A surefire way to basically ensure that you're never gonna make cold calls consistently and feel comfortable cold calling is to judge other people who cold call. So if you receive a cold call, meet it with the same warmth that you'd like to receive, that you'd like a potential client, a potential prospect, to receive if you called them. So you just want to meet it with that same energy, and judgment like that is a mirror. So if you judge other people who cold call, it's going to reflect on you, and that just speaks of your insecurities to cold call as well. So by judging other people who do it, you're going to make it extremely hard for you to do it personally. Practice delivering your script. Like I said, they can't see your face, they can't see your body language. It's all about your voice. So it's all about the delivery. So if you can practice delivering it, everything becomes so much easier. So yeah, that's some key tips that I had for this cold call script going into 2024. If you do all of these consistently and you use a script like this to book meetings with this general theme, obviously if you're in a similar niche to me, or even if you're not, don't copy this word for word. Please make some changes just based on the structure that there is here. Like, feel free to take elements of this, is absolutely fine. I don't mind at all. But yeah, this general structure, I've just found it to be so effective. So I'm excited to hear how you guys get on. Drop some comments. Let me know how things are going. And yeah, that's it for the video. If you are a marketing agency in the 7-figure range, doing anywhere from $60,000 plus, we can essentially partner with you to do exactly what it says in this cold call script here. We can basically build out a outbound system to add a minimum of 100K a month in new revenue over 6 to 12 months on a zero risk basis with close to zero effort or sacrifice on your side. If this is something that you are interested in, and like I said, you're in that 7-figure range, there should be a booking link down below in the description where you can book in a time to chat with me personally. Don't worry, there's no strings attached. It's purely a call just to see if there's going to be a fit. We don't work with many partners and we don't plan to. So I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not pushing hard on the first call. Don't worry, there's no pitches. It's purely just a call to see if there's actually a fit. And I'm just going to show up there to see if I can actually genuinely help you. And if that is the case, then I'll be more than happy to put together a custom plan on a second call to show you exactly what it would look like to work together. But yeah, that's all from me for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, let me know down in the comments if this is actually something that you found value in. And if you make any cold calls, let me know how they go. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. And trust me, there's many more videos to come. See you in a bit.